Okay, everybody, I am joined by a three-time challenge champion, Jordan Wiseley. Jordan, you're back on our TVs, man, for Ride or Dies. Starts October 12th. It's on every Wednesday on MTV. And we haven't seen you for a while on the regular series. It's been since Total Madness, back a few years. We did briefly see you on All Stars 3. But can you give us I guess, a general update for those that maybe don't follow you on social media, or maybe they missed All Stars 3? Where have you been, man? And why are you back on the challenge?
Um, you know, the challenge I think will forever be a part of me. I love that competition and like it is such an intense experience being there that we are all very much connected. Like as a family. So anyone that we've like really spent time with in the house and stuff, you're really connected. So you get drawn back to that. But you know, uh, Total Madness, it definitely didn't go our way, especially after War of the Worlds 2 was like awesome. Um, I stepped back. Tori and I stepped back a little bit. Tori and I ended up splitting, so that had a little bit to do with that was very deep for both of us. So that space, between her and I was a little bit of it, and then a really big part of it was just chasing other dreams. I've been producing films and I decided to like focus a little bit more on my acting and like really push there because when I do, I end up on like If Loving You Is Wrong with Tyler Perry and like those guys, and then I kind of come back to the challenge, and then I was like, you know what, it's time to go do some acting and did the Blacklist and did SWAT and ended up producing my own film, and we've got a couple things in the works. So just trying to balance like this urge to compete and like wanting to chase dreams at the same time.
And now you mentioned War of the Worlds 2. Obviously, that was a great season for you, Jordan. You got the win on that season. You went into Total Madness. Things didn't go in your way there. Now I'm wondering, with your mentality going into this season, Ride or Dies, I mean, this is the first season besides All Stars 3 where you've gone on not as a reigning defending champion, right? You went on to
I
Total
know.
Madness with three belts, back to back to back for you.
Yeah.
Where was your mentality, I guess, for this season?
This one specifically, it was the hardest game for me to walk into. Like that's very easy for me to like look back at my career and like say like any house walking into, from the first house to walking in as defending to walking in like with a loss. This was the hardest house just because emotionally there was a lot. Physically, I was just like not in the best shape, like nowhere near the shape that I'm used to being in, just due to being in Ukraine for so long and then came back. I filmed a scripted show just right when I got back from Ukraine. It's like really wasn't working out then. And then 5 days after that, left for Argentina. So I was just so unprepared. So this house was really tough. I was really scared to walk in. Halfway scared of Tori, not like scared, just like scared of like the emotions and stuff that come up there. And then halfway scared of like, dude, I'm about to get smoked, and like what is that gonna do to like my legacy or something? So which I hate to even think like that, but you can't help it. You can't help it. I didn't have, usually I show up and like I'm in such good shape that I'm like, even if something goes wrong, if I get stuck on something, I can make up for it because I'm so far ahead in the shape department, like compared to most anyone else. And when you don't have that, it's really hard to play the game that I play when I don't have that like insurance in my pocket.
Now, one person who I'm sure was really, really hoping that you came in the best tip-top shape ever was Aneesa, your partner for this season. Aneesa's been on for a long, long time. She's still chasing that elusive win for herself. So partnering up with you, a three-time champ, she must have been over the moon. How did you feel? First of all, why are you and Aneesa partners? And also, how did you feel walking into the season and working with Aneesa?
So going into the season, the cast had some issues with like COVID tests, and there were some positive tests and stuff when they got to location. So they had to do some scrambling and fill some positions. So when they called, and they go, like, here's the deal. It's last minute. You got 5 days. Can you do it? And then, and then I get there. So I go, okay, let's do it. This is a good time. They really talked me up about like, this is a good time to come back, dude. Like, come on. And I was like, all right. So I come back and then I get there and that's when they tell me, so you're gonna be with Aneesa and you're going in. And like I was like, okay. And I was like, when was the last time? I was like, when was the last time she was on a final? And they're like, long time, long time. I was like, what? And I'm thinking back, and they said it was like 13 years or something like that. And so when I think about that, and I think about Aneesa, and I know she puts in work, and I know she like my whole thing is like try and effort, and she's always given her effort. So I was like, all right, bet I'm gonna get Aneesa her first win ever. Like, and that will be goat shit, right? Like that is the thing. And so I was like, no, we're gonna do this. We're gonna be the dark horses that come around, and we just kind of attacked it like that. And I wanted Anissa to know just how tough she is because I don't think she. Well, I mean, I know that she did not know how tough she really was. So it was cool to watch her see it.
Now, what was like your relationship like? Have you guys been friends for years? Like, can you just, I guess, dive into what your actual just friendship is like?
So Anissa and I been together since my very first show, Rivals 2. And we were really good friends there. And we got up to a good start. We're both Virgos. We bonded really well. Very much like a sibling relationship. And then we go on and we're doing great. We hang out quite a bit outside of the show as well. She's in Philly. And then we ended up getting under each other's skin pretty good on Dirty 30, so it was very much so like we've been on both sides of being very, very close, being very mad at each other, making up, and also working together. So I think all of that plus like I was saying in the beginning, just being in the house in the game is like that is like we say this with once like mental toughness, like the environment is very tough. Like I am not exaggerating when I say it's white collar prison. It's a nice place and everything, right? But like you have no freedom of any kind. You're on their schedule, you eat their food on their schedule, period. You stay on the bus until some get off. Like it is very much so like bam, bam, bam. So it's tough. And when you go through that with people, you just get very close. So the time, the ups and downs, it just really brought a new semi close. When they were like, "You guys want to ride together?" I was like, "Yeah."
Speaking about ups and downs, one guy that you've had ups and downs with is Johnny Bananas. He's making his big grand return to the franchise this season. Funnily, I mean, your last seasons on the regular show was Total Madness, but you then came on to All Stars 3. So he's had a longer hiatus. I guess, Jordan, for you to see him come back on, I guess, what were your initial thoughts?
I'm always happy whenever I see, the Johnnies, the Wesses, the CTs, like these guys who are still competing at very, very high levels. And like, look at CT, like I would even argue like maybe his best. Because it looks like he's got the endurance down now, right? Like, kind of, I think that's what eluded CT a little bit in early years, but dude's an animal. So I love seeing that because I know we're gonna get classic, just hard-nosed challenge play in the house. Like when these people that we're talking about that like that I just mentioned, the game is inherently different when we are in the house. Like the house is different. The way we compete is different. Like everyone kind of it steps up, and there's a select few people who can do that. And so when I see that they're on there, I love it. I We're the best, Steven. We're the best show. We are the best competition show in the world. Okay, everybody else can eat our dust. We are everyone's chasing us. So I want us to all be, at that level.
So when you see Johnny come on, are you instantly just from a competitive level like, okay, well, I'm going to work with this guy because he's a fellow vet. There's a lot of beginners in or newbies or whatever in the house. I want to work with Johnny, maybe see him in the final. I know actually when I spoke with you a few years back after Total Madness, you said that you would love to face him in a final and beat him
Mhm.
that way. So I guess from a competition standpoint, Jordan, where are you at with Johnny?
Tons of respect. Like, I don't know that there's many that work harder in the off. Like, Johnny's up there. Johnny's gonna be one of the top 5 that work his butt off in the off season, keeping himself in shape. And so the amount of time that it goes into his fitness and recovery and everything, the man pays his dues, and he puts it in. So competition wise, I'm always like respect, but I'm gonna beat your ass. Like, it's all, you know what I mean? Like, every time you step out there, it's like it's brother on brother thing. It's like, I'm gonna get you. And I think we've come to know, like, when he and I are on seasons like longer and everything, it just it's just better. It's just better. We know when we're there and kind of able to push everyone and kind of elevate things. So, let's go to the final. Let's ride it out. But as you saw in Total Madness, when they got a shot, they'll take it. Like, they're no dummies. He's no dummy to think that he's gonna win a marathon. But the dude knows how to play the game. So you gotta treat him with respect.
Now, speaking about making kind of a show better with you and Johnny on there, well, I mean, for fans, I mean, it's pretty dang good TV having you and Tori coming onto a show together for the first time since, the breakup. She's your ex-fiancée. So, Jordan, I guess going into the show, you said you got the call like 5 days ahead or whatever. Did you know Tori was going to be there? And I guess how did you prepare for this, this meeting that fans have been waiting for?
Oh, they're funny. So yeah, they call like, blah blah blah. You gonna do this, and I go. First question I ask, is Tori going? I know that they left the day that they're calling me. Like, I know this. Like, I've talked, a couple of other people have like called, and I'm like, I'm actually on a trip in Mexico with mutual friends, like people that are going, right? And so I know that they're leaving today. And I go, is Tori going? Will Tori be there? And they go, most likely. Like, what? Like, I go, don't you lie to me. I was like, no, give it to me straight. And they're like, all right, yeah, she's gonna be there. And I was like, like, that was like it was like a stressful 2 seconds. And then I go, you know what? I was here first. I had a name first. I won first. You know what I mean? Like I won before she was on it. So I was like, I'm coming back. I want to play.
Yeah. Now, okay, so then you get there, you see her the first time. I'm sure we're gonna see it on the episode. But in your head, Jordan, what's going on?
I mean, the reason I'm the most in the moment, the reason I'm most scared to go is because we haven't seen each other at this point in a year and a half, right? And so much has happened, and I know we're going to talk about, like, there's no way we're going to be around each other and not talk about things, and like, and emotions come out. And so that was like the scariest part, was like, we're going to get into this stuff, and is this something we want to give away? And so, like, I mean, it's just like, do we do this behind closed doors, or
I'm sure
we
the
chose
film
not to?
crew wouldn't like that. I'm sure they're following you
Yeah,
everywhere. Like, oh,
yeah.
they're about to cross each other in the hallway. Get the cameras ready. Like,
Oh, let me tell you,
yeah,
yeah, everywhere.
yeah. Okay, so another person that's on this season, Jordan, that you have a interesting relationship with is Turbo. Now, last time we saw you and Turbo together was on World of Worlds 2, and you guys had a pretty wild altercation. Didn't get physical, but at one point it looked like it could have been. It actually got Turbo kicked off the show.
Mhm.
So have you seen him since then, and also seen him on this season? What were your thoughts?
No, I hadn't seen him since. We hadn't spoke or anything, other than like, I like, tagged him in a few comments or anything. It's all good fun. For me, like, I'm having fun. Like, yo, this is what we do. We spark competition and we push, we talk. It's like it's very similar to like the fight game, like UFC or like boxing and stuff. We're hyping this match up. So when we eventually meet, like it's a thing. Um
Does Turbo see it like that?
No, he can't. Like, no, he doesn't see it like that. I don't. He Turbo sees it as like his like manhood is on the line, and like I get it, but at the same time, it's like, dog, you've been in this TV game for a minute, like you know what this is. Like, we're not. This isn't this. It's not the fight game. We might promote it similarly, but it's not the fight game, and but at the same time, I also step back and I'm like, intimidation is a tactic to win, to play the game. Because if you look back, nobody votes for him. Like, and when you ask them, they will look you dead in the eye and say, "Because I think he'll kill me in my sleep." They believe that. So, at the same time, it's like, I mean, it's a tactic. It's gotten them by, but let's see how good it does this season. Like, intimidation only goes so far until somebody like calls you on. You know, the dude's never seen an elimination. Think about that. He didn't go. He's never went in one time. Not even like an easy layup one that like he like fell into. Not even like an elimination within a final.
Yeah.
So like, and that fresh that's a different kind of thing.
So just a few more for you, Jordan. You're talking about like kind of having a level of intimidation. I mean, going on when you're on All Stars 3, it was very obvious that you intimidated the guys in the house there. You were their number one guy that they wanted out.
Crazy to me. Crazy. I was like, what?
Did you know that that was going on? Did you know that you were the public enemy number one?
So I going into All Stars 3, that was like a whole different experience because I felt like a rookie all over again. Because going into that, I had only been on a season with like four of the people that were like on that cast. So I was the new guy, really. And I get in there and like all these dudes, all these like icons, Mark and Brad and these guys are like coming up and like, yo, like fucking love watching you and shit like that. I'm like, what? And they're like, love how you play the game. I'm like, this is crazy. And so there's a lot of flattery. And then I was like, yo, they're definitely gonna come for you behind closed doors. Like they're not just gonna let you walk. So I knew they were gonna come for me, which is why Wes and I decided to team up. And I just didn't think he would jump over there so soon. You know what I mean? It's like I sent Darrell home and he was like right there. Um, but I thought I would have Wes as a shield for a little bit longer. But ultimately, I didn't do the damn puzzle. Like you get sent home on a puzzle. It's like, sorry, buddy, you got to go.
How would you compare All-Star competing on All-Stars and competing on the main show? I mean, obviously it's a lot shorter of a filming experience, things like that. The competition is a little older on All-Stars, but you got a lot of veterans that are really good at the game. What is I guess, can you give us the difference, Jordan, about being on both?
Yeah. And crazily, it is a big difference. Like dynamic wise, it is a really big difference. I will say to start off, think about this. I know everyone's like had this thing. Been in high school, maybe even college, and like you got some friends over, and your dad's got some friends over, right? And you guys maybe start playing a little pickup game, dads versus sons. Dads always win. They're so much older and slower and broken, but they win. Why? Because they play smarter, right? And these aren't like, as we see, like these aren't the things that we do. It's not like you need the fastest 40 or the fastest marathon or anything. It's like who can be the most consistent throughout the time. So like competition wise, it's always tough because the challenge is so tough that it's a crapshoot. Like you got to show up You get no practices. Do it the first time, only time, no redos. Best one wins. Go. Um, but then the dynamics of it are so different in the house because on All Stars, you're dealing with older vets who have been in the game of life, the entertainment game. Some of them left the entertainment game and went into like regular 9 to 5s for a little while, right? And like they have families. So there's so much perspective there that in the house, the vibe is very different. It's much more like straightforward. Um, it's less gamey as far as like there's less like paranoia, if that makes sense. It's like because they're just kind of like whatever happens, happens. If it's my time to go in, I guess. Like whatever. They're not really looking to make a name for themselves anymore, right? Flash to the main show. These everyone wants to be on the challenge. Everyone. Okay. I don't care what show they come from. The challenge is the only show out there that if you're good enough or you're liked enough, you can be a reoccurring personality. Survivor doesn't do that. Big Brother doesn't do it. You might come back for like an All Stars and a Winners and stuff. So in a Survivor career, you might get 3 or 4 shows, right? In 10, 15 years. Challenge? Johnny's got 21. 21 seasons. Like that is ridiculous. Like that's what everyone wants. Everyone wants to be on something and they want to come back and they want to play this sport. That's what we're doing. So the people that come in, everyone's looking to make a name for themselves. They're looking to make the move that gets an entire episode based around it and things like that. Everyone wants to take a big shot. It's like you don't understand the repercussions of what you're doing because it doesn't work like that. You don't just get to take a shot and it worked. And that's what you deal with. You're dealing with a lot more vanity, I think, on the regular show. Whereas All Stars, they're like just here to compete.
Yeah. Just one more person I want to ask you about, Jordan. Well, first of all, did you watch the Challenge USA on CBS?
No, but I've seen a lot of like clips and postings and stuff. Yeah.
Are you aware of Tyson Apostol?
I have. Is that his real last name?
Apostol? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
The irony is ridiculous. Like nobody's touched that. I will get on that. I'll prepare material.
Okay, so what I wanted to ask you, Jordan, is so he's come out pretty strong. I mean, so if somebody that hasn't seen it or whatever, Tyson, he pretty much ran Challenge USA, which was on CBS. He made it all the way to the final. Didn't make it to the end though. He actually quit along with like.
Did he quit? Yeah, damn. Oh, that sucks. Don't we usually say the challenge is really mentally tough?
Now, for you, Jordan, okay, and then so what I wanted to ask you is he has come out and said that he is the greatest endurance athlete to ever be on the challenge. And I know, Jordan, you fancy yourself as someone that is very great in that realm. I mean, you look at your social media, you're always biking, running, swimming. So you hear that from him. First of all, what is your thoughts on Tyson saying that? And what are your thoughts, I guess, generally about Tyson?
So generally love it. This is like we need this, right? Like this is what we need. We want to drive like I want people to come in and think that like they're ready, and that they're about to do something. Because I want them to really try. I want you to try. So that there's no excuses of like, well, I didn't know or anything. So that's general. Love the energy. And now personally so I didn't know he said the endurance athlete thing, but as someone like I'm a sportsman, man, I do a lot, and I actually race triathlons, which is an endurance sport. So I've got the data, like I've got the numbers right there. I've been to U.S. nationals, like I've qualified, I've done that thing. I've done marathons and stuff. He might go long, and that's the thing. Like people can go long, but how fast can you do it? That's the thing. Can you go into deep water and keep swimming when it hurts? And that's speed, right? Completing it is great. Like I love it. Like I've got friends that go out there and like, I did this ultra, I did this 100. I'm like, how long did it take you? They're like, 19 hours. I'm like, it's great. That is great that you freaking did that. You know, that's not competitive, but
When
I
you
love
hear,
the energy.
yeah, so when you hear Tyson say something like that, and he's on your show, right? This is your show, right? And he's from Survivor. He's been on it 4 times. He's won once. Tyson's, to me, one of the best reality TV stars that I've ever seen. But
I've heard, yeah, he's definitely a name, you know, that's out there and stuff. Great. I think he's a great addition.
for sure. But you hear that from him. Are you like, okay, man, let's see you in a final, like, or what?
Yeah, yeah, but here's the thing also with that is I don't blame him for saying that. The only issue is his case studies are so skewed. The number one thing that people say when they come on the main show, not All Stars Night, when they come on the main show from any other show, Survivor, anything, number one thing they all say, and they all say it, this is way more intense than I thought. They're like this is way more intense than we thought it was going to be. Yeah, like production when they're setting up like our stuff, they have testers that do stuff. We so many times we literally we can break things like all this like metal thing, and they're just like our testers just like don't go like, and it's like yeah, it's when you are cooped up in that house and you are competing at the level that we are. Look at the no offense. On Survivor, everyone starts depleting and they all deplete differently, right? Like a Nelson is gonna be way different after 20 days of no food than like a me. Who like I naturally carry a little more body fat, things like that. We don't have that on the challenge. Everybody is showing up every day at peak. Look at the animals that we have on the main show. They're in Horacio. Bananas is still ripped at 40. CT, Nelson, Corey, Johnny Melvin. Like what these they're like cloning these guys. Do you know what I mean? Like so his case studies come from Survivor and the Challenge USA. There were no challenge vets on the Challenge USA. So that means the Challenge USA for us, it's a challenge of rookies. So he's being compared to a class of rookies always.
Yeah.
When you step in the main show, after that, then we'll start to give some credibility to some of those things.
For sure. Well, that's all I have for you, Jordan, man. I really, really appreciate the time. Excited to see you back on the show. Ride or Dies starts October 12th every Wednesday on MTV.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be back. It's always so fun. Like we have the best fans in the world. So like it's fun to like watch and do it live and tweet and things like that. So I'm glad to be back. This season, I'm gonna tell everybody. I know like in the past, like there's been some seasons where it's lagged and been a little confusing. I'm gonna tell you, this one brings all the good classic components of a banger challenge. So we've got the names, we've got the competition, we've got the backstabbing. So sit back and enjoy. Ride or Dies is gonna be sick.